What is good, Josh? Your girl Queen B coming to y'all with yet another reaction. Y'all, it's been one heck of a new year already. Um, One person dies when Tesla truck catches fire and explodes outside of Trump's Las Vegas hotel. What is going on? One person died and 7 others were injured Wednesday when a Tesla Cybertruck that appeared to be carrying fireworks caught fire and exploded outside President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel, authorities said. Okay. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police and Clark County Fire Department officials told news conference that a person died inside the forensic-looking pickup truck, and they were working to get the body out. 7 people nearby had minor injuries, and several were taken to the hospital. The fire in the valet area of Trump's International Hotel, Las Vegas, was reported at 8:40 a.m. A county spokeswoman said in a statement, according to the law enforcement official, the truck was rented via the Turo app. Now, isn't this interesting, y'all? Because the same vehicle that was rented in the New Orleans situation on Turo. And for those who, again, don't know what Turo is, it's I would say like an independent app. You have owners that have their own cars and they go on this app and you can pretty much rent their cars without having to go through a lot of other things that you would do if you would actually go in an actual office, like for instance, Enterprise or any other place and rent vehicles. It's kind of like a quick and easy way of renting a car by actual owners. So that's just interesting. That's like the second, vehicle that's been rented. And appeared to have a load of fireworks. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. Law enforcement officials have not ruled out terrorism as a possible motive. A person familiar with the matter said the person spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss details of the investigation. Okay, let me see here. I know I have a lot of questions. Jeremy Sitzworth, acting special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas office, told reporters, "We don't have a lot of answers." President Joe Biden was brief on the explosion. The truck explosion came hours after a driver rammed into a crowd in New Orleans, flamed French Quarter early on New Year's Day, killing at least 10 people before being shot to death by police. All right, y'all. So it's been a crazy year already. I'm praying for families that have lost loved ones behind both of these situations. Okay. So with that being said, y'all, we finna go ahead and dive into the video. This is my boy Ben Shapiro, and he's just giving a breakdown on both the New Orleans tragedy and Cybertruck explosion. So let's go ahead and dive into this video, y'all.
Hey folks, well, it's very difficult to begin the new year with such terrible news out of New Orleans. I wanted to bring you the latest breaking news from the authorities at this point. So what we do know is that by various reports, somewhere between 10 and 15 people have died in New Orleans at this point, and 35 have been wounded by a terror attack. The terrorist's name is apparently Shamsud Din Jabbar. Now, normally I don't mention the names of mass killers. The difference is that the authorities are actually seeking more information about this person. And so if you have information about this person, it's actually relevant to know his name. He's a 42-year-old U.S. citizen from Texas. Apparently, according to the FBI, he was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to have been rented. There was some early reporting that it had crossed over the U.S. southern border via the Eagle Pass crossing. That does not mean the person inside was an illegal immigrant or anything like that. Apparently, this car was rented. It last crossed through that Eagle Pass crossing back in November. So it's quite possible the person who owned the vehicle went to Mexico and back into the country. In any case, what we do know is that at 3:15 a.m. Central Time, an individual drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. After hitting the crowd, the suspect then exited the vehicle and fired on local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire and killed the suspect on scene. There was, in fact, an ISIS flag in the vehicle. The FBI did ask for citizen help in determining if there were any other associates. They are investigating other known associates. They're operating under the assumption this person did not act alone and that this may, in fact, have been part of a terror cell. Presumably, one of the reasons for that is that there were IEDs that were found in the vehicle. There were also IEDs that were found, apparently, on the street. And those were apparently
Oh.
detonated a little bit earlier today.
So now this is some new information. He may not have acted alone. You learned something new, boy. I just did, a reaction not too long ago on it. Now this is informing like new information. Let's go.
There are questions that have been raised about why exactly Bourbon Street wasn't better protected, why there weren't steel bollards that were up, why there weren't barriers that would have prevented some sort of terrible automobile attack like this one. Obviously, this is not the first time that you've seen an Islamic terror attack of this nature. Almost every year, there's a Christmas market in Europe that is attacked by some member associated with ISIS. So what the hell happened here? Well, apparently, according to New Orleans City Council member Jean-Pierre Morel, he said on Wednesday the barriers on Bourbon Street were in the process of being repaired. The suspect actually drove over the sidewalk to avoid that particular area. He said even had the bollard barriers been up.
Sorry if y'all hear my phone ringing in the background. I don't know where it's at, but it's ringing. If you hear that little noise, okay.
The circumvention by riding on the sidewalk would have defeated them. Apparently, according to that city council member, the suspect was staying in an Airbnb before the attack. Again, a horrible, horrible attack. Details are still emerging. The officers who were involved in killing the suspect, 2 of them received gunfire. According to the chief of police, they will be okay. What we do know about the suspect at this point, Jabbar was an Army veteran, possibly had been discharged. Unclear exactly at this point whether that would be an honorable or dishonorable discharge. There is some tape apparently floating around of the suspect doing things like diversity training on behalf of the military. He apparently, again, was born in Texas and that he was raised in Texas as well. We don't know if he went abroad and was recruited abroad or if he was trained abroad or anything like that at this time. Again, what we do know, according directly to the FBI, is that he was driving a Ford pickup truck, which was rented. They're working to confirm how the suspect came into possession of the vehicle. And again, there was an ISIS flag that was located in the vehicle. The FBI says they're working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Now, very early on, the mayor of New Orleans immediately called this a terror attack, and the FBI immediately tried to walk that back and said, well, we don't know if it's a terror attack or not. We're not going to care. And then they came back and said, we're investigating it as a terror attack. They're going to sort of pretend away the fact that they denied it was a terror attack at the outset.
That's what they do.
But this is pretty clearly an Islamist terror attack. So presumably the FBI is going to spend the next hours and days trying to retrace exactly what happened to this person, who this person was, who this person was associated with, and if there are other suspects who are out there right now. Meanwhile, there are other explosions that are happening. Unclear whether these are related, whether it's an accident or anything else like that. It would be very weird if it were an accident, what just happened outside of the Trump Vegas hotel.
Right.
Apparently, a Cybertruck blew up in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. It's a fairly large explosion. Yeah, it's no reports of any casualties. It did rock the area. We have no other information on this at the time. Maybe somebody put fireworks in the Cybertruck. Maybe this was a message about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. We don't know anything like that at this moment. President Trump has issued a statement. He issued a statement very quickly on this, did President Trump. President Trump's statement lamented the amount of crime under Joe Biden. He said, quote, when I said that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Our hearts with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. J.D. Vance also put out a statement in solidarity with the people of New Orleans at this time. He said, heartbreaking violence last night in New Orleans, such a beautiful and great American city. May God bless the victims and their families. Okay, so what exactly is going on here? Well, this person was an ISIS affiliate.
Question.
We know that ISIS tends to recruit over the internet. We know that ISIS has agents all over the world. Very often, these are people who are born domestically inside the West and then are recruited because they are radical Muslims into ISIS. We also know that ISIS has been flexing its muscle somewhat in Syria. The decline of the Assad regime in Syria, the collapse of the Assad regime in Syria, and its replacement with HTS, which is an Islamic Jihad breakoff group. It's a breakoff group from originally Al-Qaeda and then also from ISIS. that breakoff group says they now oppose Al-Qaeda and they oppose ISIS, but we know that ISIS also has been attempting jailbreaks in the Kurdish areas of Syria. Could this have something to do with the situation in Syria, the chaos in Syria? Totally unclear at this point. Again, it could be another one of these ISIS quote-unquote lone wolves. Again, it appears this person was a domestic American citizen, a person born in the United States and who's recruited into ISIS. Islamic terrorism remains a serious threat to the American public. Pretending that away by suggesting that the real threat in America is right-wing, quote-unquote, white supremacism, that the real threat of terrorism in the United States has nothing to do with radical Islam is, of course, wish casting. And this is one of the big problems that Europe has had as well, is the attempt to pretend away the problem of radical Islamism and its impact on the politics and the lives of people who are living in Europe. A huge amount of the immigration backlash that is happening in the West is a direct result of the flooding of the West with people from countries that unfortunately harbor beliefs that are very much in line with those of ISIS, that are Muslim Brotherhood offshoots, that are radical Islamist cells or associated therewith. So again, information is still coming out at this point. We will bring you more information as it does. And there are going to be serious conversations, and there should be, about the nature of our immigration system, about who should get in, about who should not be allowed in. That is not just going to be a question with regard to illegal immigration. It's going to be a question with regard to legal immigration. Where are people coming from? What are their belief systems? How well do they want to assimilate into the United States? How much do they actually care about American values? How much do they hate those values? How vulnerable are they to recruitment by radical Islamist terror groups like ISIS? These are all open questions at this point. One thing is for sure. Things are about to change in the United States in a very significant way with regard to how Americans view all of these issues, because President Trump is coming into power. That is going to change how these issues are addressed. Border issues, immigration issues, anti-terrorism issues. No more excuses for radical Islamic terror under President Trump. That was one of his strongest points during Trump term number 1. I would assume the same is true during Trump term number 2. He's put together an excellent foreign policy team that is directed against Islamic terrorism, that is directed against defeating Islamic terrorism, and that is directed against allowing immigrants from places that are warm toward Islamic terrorism into the United States. And we'll continue to bring you all of the news on this. Should mention that in order for us to continue to bring you things like Ben Reacts, we would appreciate you subscribing over at dailywire.com/subscribe. Go check us out right now. It's a brand new year. It's a good time to subscribe and join the fight. dailywire.com/subscribe.
Go do that. Thank you, Ben, so much for that informative, updated information, y'all. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I just know the new year is definitely going to change dramatically, y'all. Again, my heart goes out to the families for everybody who has happened to bury someone coming into the new year due to people that's just selfish and then evil and like just no reason at all. Like, and then they're saying it could be more than one person. Definitely have to stay tuned in with this. This is very sad. You know what I'm saying? This is something where we're supposed to be celebrating, excited that we made it to the new year. And some families are now grieving and in pain because of their loved one who was taken away. You know what I'm saying? Just so evil. You get what I'm saying? Y'all, and I wanted to end this reaction with this last one because CNN got a surprise by your girl Whitney Cummings, y'all. And it's been all over the internet, like of her going in and pretty much roasting CNN. Y'all, check it out.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed.
Absolutely.
They're pretty great, and I'm playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people will want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Well,
Not
nice.
this show that being a
Nice.
mom would mean that less people will want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Well,
Not
nice.
this show,
Dang.
though. All eyes are on this show.
Wow, you're all firing today.
2024
Y'all,
election fried our brains.
she
The Democrats
went
couldn't hold a
in.
primary.
She went in. They was not expecting it. They mouths was dropping and everything. Yes, somebody turn her mic off. No, baby, keep it on because she is spitting some real facts. And that's what most of these fake medias, that's what they get. Like, did y'all not think it was gonna turn on y'all too? Cause y'all part of the lies, the fake lies at that. I'm talking about she went in. Okay. No filter. Nah, y'all, but let's chop it up in the comment section. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, we'll definitely keep you updated with the New Orleans situation and just the Cybertruck, all of that, y'all. It is very, very, heartbreaking. Again, my heart goes out to the families. Let's talk in the comment section, y'all. Let's go ahead and chop it up there. Until the next reaction, y'all, be safe. I say this all the time. Be safe. Remain safe, y'all. I'm out.